Hey, God, I believe you. It's working out. Yes, sir. The good and the bad, they work together. Yes, they do. Hallelujah. Oh, my good days and my bad days, the things I like and the things I hate, somehow God's working them all together. Yes, He is. Love the Lord. Come on, let's sing it. Hey. All things tonight they're working together. Yes, they are. For the good of them. For the good of them, yeah. Who loves the Lord? Hey. Yes, it is. I've had many successes in my life. Yes, I have. But I also had many failures. But it didn't matter. Hey, because it all worked together. Yes, it did. Oh, He's got a plan for your life. Thank you, Lord. He never makes a mistake. No, no, no. For He's perfect in all His ways. All His ways, all His ways. And it's working together for your good. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. He's got a plan. I said, God's got a plan for you. Yes, He does. Just keep on believing. Keep on trusting. Keep on holding on. Oh. Long as you're in. Yes, Lord. I know. They will work out. Yeah, Lord. Oh. As long as you're in control. As long as you're in control, I know things will work for me. Come on, praise Him if you know it.
Come on, if you decided to make Jesus your choice, stand to your feet. Come on. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Him through the storm, through the rain, through the hurt and the pain. Yes, sir. I decided to follow Jesus. I have decided.
Connected the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome once again to Ask Elaine. We really do appreciate your being there, whether you've tuned in on AM, FM, or if you're looking at us right here on the Glory Live. We welcome you and thank you so much for your loyalty and for tuning in to get smarter. This is your voice, Elaine Lucas, Water Board Commissioner, District 1, welcoming you once again to this week's edition of Ask Elaine. We have two guests that we'll be bringing to you a little later on. We're going to talk education today. Many of you I know have questions about education, and then we like, making sure that it comes straight from the horse's mouth. And we are going to have a special guest. Randy Crawford is already with us. Hello to you, and we will recognize all the rest of our folks who decide to put something in the chat as they come on. But if you've tuned in, if you'll hit like and share. Ricky Crawford is with us. Good afternoon to you. You're usually the first two to join us, and we're just so pleased that you decide that each week at 3 that you're going to spend this hour with us. And of course, you always learn something, and we get to learn from our audience too. We learn a lot of details from Randy and Ricky that we did not know. So y'all keep that information coming. Um, that takes care of our greeting. If you would like to share something with us in the chat, please feel free to do that. If you want to call us before we get real busy, this show gets really hot. And you might not be able to get in. So if you want to call us with any information, any inspiration, any announcements, we would love to have you do that. 478-250-1444. Let me go ahead with the announcements, and then when our guests arrive, we will be able to go right on into the interview where we're going to be talking seriously about education. Our condolences go out this week to the Fraley family, Songbird and her whole family, Doug and all of them, in the loss of their mom. We also want to extend special condolences to Asia Warner Ellen. Her grandmother passed away. The services will be on to no, they will be on Friday at 2 p.m. at Grant's Chapel. Ricky reminds me that former state senator Charles Walker passed, and Senator Lucas spent a lot of years working with Charles Walker. Charles Walker was a brilliant man. He ran a newspaper and had a number of other business interests in the Augusta area. And so we express condolences in the passing of former state senator Charles Walker. We also want to express condolences to the Smith family, the widow of the late Reverend Eddie Smith. Miss Martha Smith passed away, and her services were held on yesterday at Macedonia. If you know of others that we should wish condolences, we would love to express those openly right here on Ask Elaine. So if you know of others, if you'll put them in the chat, or if you'll call us and just tell us what you want us to know as far as condolences to families. We want to wish bring get well wishes to Dr. Mary Butler, who has been under the weather, has been in the hospital from what I understand, is doing so much better, and we are so pleased with that, and we'll continue in prayer for her as she recuperates. We want to express congratulations on yesterday. We were at the Tubman Museum, and there was a big event going on. It was so big, it was just standing room only, literally standing room only. Just wonderful people. It was wonderful atmosphere. There were just, it was at the beautiful Tubman Museum, and it was just a great event. But it was to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Macon Black Pages, and none other than Mr. A.C. Habersham. And he was there, grinning, laughing, all teeth showing as he usually does. But what was so beautiful was there were so many people. Congressman Bishop was there. D.A. Howard was there. The mayor, Patrick, soon to be something else, from what I understand from Facebook, with an engagement announcement. But anyway, Warner Robins Mayor Patrick, State Rep Nissa Jones was there. Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin was there. Um, and I'm trying to see when you start calling names. The new president of the Macon section of the National Conference of Negro Women, Ms. Kimberly Harmon, was there, and her mom. There were a number of other, Ms. Coons, Reverend Coons was there. And as I think of others, I will name those names, but there were so many people. Cheryl Johnson Knight was there. Mary Jane Glover was there, everybody's teacher. She was there. And there were so many business people, other elected officials. Commissioner Stanley Stewart was there. Commissioner Donis Bryant was there. Senator David Lucas, and I was there. There were just so many people. And as I see, that's one of our guests sneaking in, sneaking in now. And we've got one more, and we'll be able to introduce the both of them. But this gave me a chance to finish these little announcements. Doc, we have expressed condolences to the families. Were you listening to it as you zoomed in?
And you really need to also express condolences to the Dean family, Taretha Dean, daughter of Mary Dean. She passed.
No.
Yes, and her funeral is going to be Tuesday.
I am just so sorry to hear that. But Taretha Dean, yeah. Her last occupation was in the marketing and publishing business, but for the longest time she was a writer for what was it, the Macon Courier? Was it the Courier?
She wrote for the Courier, and at one time I think she did some articles for the
Telegraph. Yeah. So we are so sorry to hear about that. We have wished get well wishes to Dr. Mary Butler, who has been in the hospital and is making progress, and so we hope that she is home.
Her son told me last night that she will be released today.
Okay,
sometime.
yeah, and her son was at the tribute program last night. As many of you know, I haven't finished my announcement, but we just put him on into the conversation. There's Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin. And our other sidekick, I guess Herbert will drag along in a minute. He comes when he gets ready. He doesn't, it doesn't matter with him that we start at 3:00. He just drags in whenever, but we're glad to have him whenever he shows up. So I'm sure he's turning in on two wheels now. I hope he'll watch, because there are a lot of buses out there. We don't want him to mess up Roscoe tours out there. But we expressed our congratulations to A.C. Habersham on celebrating 35 years as a publisher of the Macon Black Pages. And for all these years, it's kind of hard to keep stuff going for that many years. So we salute him. And there were hundreds of other people who congratulated him on yesterday at the historic Tubman Museum. Every time I go to the Tubman, I'm just amazed at the beauty of it and the uniqueness of it. Guided by Harold Young and his staff there. and they keep it going on a shoestring.
Yeah, they've done a
And
wonderful job.
doing a wonderful job.
And just to mention, last night was just an amazing night in celebration of 35 years for the Black Pages. And of course, I know that Alex was very pleased with the turnout.
Yeah,
The
he was
turnout
grinning from ear to ear.
And then to have one of the icons from Macon to return as a special guest in the person of Num Nixon, it was just fantastic.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was great. Macon has such a rich storehouse of talent, talented people who think of Macon as a home or a second home, and who visit from time to time for special occasions. And this occasion of celebrating the 35th anniversary, 35 years of the Macon Black Pages. And so we're going to have AC on soon to talk about what he's been through over all these years, because Black businesses don't just happen and don't just stay in place. They have a rough time,
Exactly.
rougher than any others. So we can get some inspiration from him. Let me remind you that if you wish to have signs or candidate information, there are two locations that you can go to. One location is on Eisenhower Parkway. All of you know where Corky Bell's used to be. There is a fish restaurant that has replaced Corky Bell. But that shopping area on Eisenhower Parkway, in the very center of it, is the coordinated campaign for the Democratic Party. And they have campaign signs and they have materials and they have people who are representing the Democratic Party there. And they will assist you in whatever needs you might have as far as your signs and your materials. We also, at my office, EL High School Academy at 624 Sherling Drive in the Northeast Plaza Shopping Center. If you want to get some material, we do have some limited materials. We have cards that have all of the Democratic candidates for the different offices. If you're interested in looking at all of the candidates, very soon we will have another piece of information that will have pictures of all of the Democrats who are our nominees in the November 3rd election. Early voting starts on October 13th. And so, Henry, I plan to beat you there. You and I kind of race to see who's going to be first at early voting. I go to the Senior Citizen Center. Where do you usually go?
The Senior Citizen.
So we're going to be fighting for the door, fighting for the number one vote down there. But you join that competition and you be there early, or you just be there, because there will be 15, 16, 17, 18 days of early voting,
yes,
including 2 Saturdays and 1 Sunday. And that Sunday, we are challenging and encouraging all ministers to gather your folks together, those who wish to participate. And y'all do a motorcade. Use your church vans, your church buses. That's bringing religion out of the 4 walls and carrying it out where it's supposed to be, and putting faith into action, I like to say. So if you want campaign material, there are 2 locations. Eisenhower Parkway, which is the main Democratic Party headquarters. It's a coordinated campaign. But then we supplement and support that effort on the east side by, basically EL High School becomes a Democratic headquarters during all elections. So if you're over on the east side and you want to come by and pick up material, we have some material for Sanford Bishop and we have signs. We have material for David Lucas and we have signs. David Lucas has Republican opposition. All of these candidates do. So if you don't go vote, you're casting 2 votes, the one that you should have cast, and you're one for the opposition. As far as we know, the last we heard, David Lucas's opponent, Wheeler, I think it's her last name, is still
In jail.
in jail
Mhm.
for pulling a gun. She's accused of pulling a gun on the partner in her restaurant, and her husband and the son were also arrested for that. So
But
just a
just because
bunch.
she's in jail doesn't mean that people
Doesn't
won't
mean
vote for her.
absolutely.
Mhm.
People look at what's in the White House. He's convicted of 34, convicted, not just charged, but convicted of 34 felonies, including sexual assault and robbing the people of New York, fraud, all of those things. And he's robbing all of us blind by the trillions of dollars daily as he supposedly serves us, and killing or placing people in position to kill U.S. citizens in these detention centers, these concentration camps, and also on the streets of this country.
And what he
So
is doing on the Lincoln is just really a heart aching, as well
the
as just unheard
ship,
of for
uh-huh,
somebody to have those soldiers on the ship and not provide them with the very best that they can provide them with. That is so heart wrenching
it
to think
really
that
is.
is
And
going
then
on.
he said that it really isn't long enough that
Hmm.
they're out there with no toothpaste, no deodorant,
Hmm.
terrible food. I've seen the pictures of some of
I
the
did too.
food that they have been, and this president, who's the head of the Republican Party, that all of these Republicans are swearing their loyalty to.
Hmm.
So you cannot separate and say, oh, they're just local Republicans. They're all the same. They all are swearing by saying they're Republicans, they're swearing allegiance to this man that's, and I say that, with the uh, things, quotes around it. This person that is supposed to be leading this country, this is who is head of the Republican Party. So if you want the materials, the signs, stop by either one of those locations. Pastor Lisa Watson is going to be the guest uh, uh, pastor not pastor, but the guest speaker at Haynes Temple Church on Sunday at 2. Haynes Temple is out right behind Kings Park. And so Pastor Lisa is going to be the anniversary speaker for Minister Haynes at Haynes Temple Church on Sunday. I believe the time is 2 o'clock. If I've stated it wrong, please somebody put in the chat the correct time or call in. Good afternoon to you, Steve Bryant, calling all the posting all the way from Virginia, I believe. He grew up in Pleasant Hill and he tunes into these programs on a regular basis. We love it when people leave here, but they keep up with what's going on here. And hello to you. We want to welcome all of you, those who've joined us on AM, FM, and right here on the Glory Live. We appreciate you. As you probably have figured out by now, our special guest, one of them, who came zipping in, and we were glad because we do understand that you were in a meeting out of town and you did make it back. We're just so happy you were able to get back in time to do Ask Elaine. But our special guest is none other than the Reverend Dr. Henry C. Thicklin, who wears a whole lot of titles. We're not going to go through all of those, but one title that we want to talk about and zero in on today is the title of school board member for District 2.
Two.
District 2. And he ran unopposed for the school board. I wonder why. Anyway, he ran unopposed. He has had a 30, how many years in this?
39.
30, 39. It was 39. 39 years in the Bibb County school system. And so he is eminently qualified to serve us, replacing the icon, Dr. Thelma Dillard, when she was term limited on the school board. Um, and so he is, as all of you know, the school system has some problems. And so we are here today to discuss some of those things. We will want to let him just do some opening remarks. If you have questions about the school system and what's going on, about the deficits, about lack of progress of our students, or the progress that our students are making. We want the positive and the negative so that we can discuss all of that. You please put those in the chat or call in, and Dr. Ficklin will be more than happy to respond to whatever you have. He is one who does his homework. I served with him when we were both on the city council. I was your vice chair for a while, wasn't it? On appropriations. And so we learned a lot. We learned a lot from him. He would, you might as well just put aside anything that you had to do for 2 weeks, because once the budget was presented, then he uh, went to work. And we, as the committee, learned an awful lot and were involved in making sure that government really was accountable to the people. And where folks were wasteful, he pulled it out. And that is kind of what's missing in a lot of places, that middle ground where you do due diligence and check everything and make sure people aren't being wasteful. And then you send a revised budget on to the full council or the full commission for their action. Unfortunately, some of those steps are out or not in place now in some of our governmental entities. Welcome, Pastor Lisa. We're glad you're with us. We announced your that you're going to be the special guest minister at Haynes Temple, and I announced that it was Sunday at 2 p.m. If that is incorrect, please put in the chat or call us and let us know what the correct time. But Dr. Ficklin, welcome to Ask Elaine.
Thank you so much, Elaine, for having me on Ask Elaine. Of course, pretty soon we're going to be celebrating a mark in your, I guess, tenure as serving as the host of Ask Elaine. I remember when you got started, and of course, I know it has cost you, but at the same time, the community is better because you have decided to put something out there that the community can reach and grab and get questions, and as you say, get a lot of information. And I think that's one of the things that is wrong in our communities, that the free flow of information is not generally out there. And I think that the best thing for a democracy is the free flow of information. And when we have information, we make better choices.
Right. You're absolutely right. Now, tell us what you'd like for us to know overall as far as education in Bibb County.
Well, I think that one of the things that our public needs to understand is that public education is the best thing going to keep democracy, to keep our freedom, and just really to keep economic viability going, to keep housing going, and to keep communities going. Without public education, we wouldn't have any of that. So public education really is the foundational piece that lifts our community, whether it's economically, culturally, historically, or whatever. It is public education that does that. And without public education, we are lost, and we need to do everything that we can to ensure that public education will always be there, that it is supported, and that it is something that people can rely upon, and they can rely upon what is said by those that are leading our public education system.
Right. Okay. So now we've expressed a concern over the years, well, especially recently, about the makeup of the school board. Macon is what, 58% Black?
But the school system is like 88%
Yes, yes,
Black.
yes. So the majority of Black kids and kids of other races, brown folks, are in the public school system. And then the majority of white kids are in segregated schools or they're in private
Yeah. The schools
schools.
that were once uh, started, but for the reason of segregation, that's when they pulled out of the public school,
Mhm.
and that included all the schools except Mount DeSales. They had started a little earlier because of their religious context that they operate under, and were it didn't look good for them to have a racial kind of divide. But the other schools, pulled out of the public schools, and of course, each year we find more and more pulling out, and now there is a trend
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
private schools to recruit some of the better kids
yes.
into
And athletes. And
athletes,
the
yes,
athletes.
into the schools that were once started for racial reasons. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe we will get it back to being one school system, because schools are, again, the foundation of what we do in a democracy.
Okay, we want to welcome Jeanette Goff, who has joined us. And Pastor Lisa reports that Dr. Butler is home now and she's recovering. And there's a thank you to everyone for the prayers. And y'all continue to pray for folks, because once they leave the hospital, they still have a recovery period and a period of trying to get well. And so we want to continue in our prayers. And it's like I heard someone say at a funeral the other day, once the person has the funeral, then, during that time, everybody's just busy. They're calling, they're coming by, they're bringing stuff, they're just on time. Oh, that reminds me. Gwen Strong, Joseph Strong was her husband, and he passed away, and that service was this past Saturday. But this was stated at this funeral, that you have all this attention during the time of the death and the funeral and all that, but afterwards everybody disappears. So that doesn't need to happen. Family members need to keep their family members' memory alive, carrying a picture, posting pictures as much as you possibly can, keeping them forever on your Facebook page. Keep going to their legacy memory site and posting comments. Even now, with Al having been gone over 20 years, there are people, I go to the legacy pages and I see people who are still posting memorials to him. And that means so very much to the families that are still grieving. You never stop grieving. So y'all continue to remember everybody. Don't just go at one time and that's it. The person is still living with that loss. So just remember everybody. This Teresa Hill is with us. Hi to you. Um, and Pastor Lisa is very proud that she was one of your students. Dot. She says, "Great to see your guest, my favorite male educator, Daddy Dr. Ficklin." Shirley Mercer Jackson is with us, and okay, Pastor Lisa clarified that she's honored to be special guest for Pastor Mama Eugenia Haynes, her 17th pastor's anniversary, this Sunday at 2:30 at Haynes Temple in Kings Park. Free dinners following the service. So I know that Herbert will want to be there for the free dinner. So those of you who are here and who listen in to the show, you've gotten to know we're all a family. So let's go out and support Pastor Lisa at 2:30 at Haynes Temple. She can preach a pretty good little sermon
Yes,
there.
indeed.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
and sing. She can sing too. So y'all join us there on Sunday at 2:30. Dr. Ficklin, we were talking education, and we want to welcome everybody who's tuned in. This is Ask Elaine. It's Wednesday, 3 p.m. We want to encourage you to be with us every week because we hope that we're providing information to you that's going to help you with your everyday life. And then you can share it with others who might not know. We are encouraging people to get registered. You still have time. You have to be registered 30 days prior to the election, but don't put it off. Go ahead. You can even go online and register to vote. You can register. I had to renew my driver's license because my birthday is in September. So I didn't want to forget it and be riding around with an expired driver's. So I went on and there they ask you about whether you wish to become a registered voter or not. Registration is not the problem now.
No,
Actually getting folks out to vote for entities like the school board that is not representative of Macon's population. But Doc, we know that you're serving very well. You're calling into question a number of things and keeping issues before the people, very much as like I've tried to do on the water board. So it's very difficult when people get kind of set in their ways. But let's go back to the discussion of education. And if anybody has a question, oh yeah, we've got a few more. These are all from Pastor Lisa. She's calling for Herbert to come on and take his spot. He has not shown up yet, but if you see him, tell him he's late for Ask Elaine. She says, please get out and vote. Patrick Davis has a question for you. What are your thoughts about the QBE or the Quality Basic Education Act? Do you believe that this legislation should be updated? And how could it positively impact our public school system in Bibb County? Very good question.
Thank you, Patrick, for that question. Of course, QBE has not been updated in some time. I think 1985 was the last time that QBE was updated. And of course, the formula that goes into QBE certainly needs to be updated so that it can more effectively address the kinds of things that schools need. The FTE in Bibb County, I don't think we're getting all the money that we should be drawing down for FTE because of the way it is counted. And your question is, do I think it needs to be updated? Yes, I do think it needs to be updated. And that is something that the legislature and the governor has to look at. I think one of the gubernatorial candidates now and the person of Keisha Lance Bottom is talking about updating some things to make sure that the people who really need the quality basic educational kinds of concerns addressed more specifically, especially for people who are without a lot of things and in poor communities, especially in rural communities as well. So yes, the answer to that is yes, and I do think that it will help not only Bibb County schools, but it'll help other schools that are in similar conditions.
Right. And we have a candidate who's running for state school superintendent. And let me tell you, her name is Dr. Lydia Powell, Powell. And we have this list here. You might not be able to see it, but we have this list of all of the folks who are running as Democrats. For
Dr. Powell is just a phenomenal kind of person. She presents well. She has great ideas about changing some things that needs to be changed. And I certainly encourage everyone to vote the whole ticket instead of just voting for governor and the Senate, to vote for every office so that you'll vote down and vote for her as well, because she is someone who I believe is going to have an impact on education in not only in Bibb County, but in the state of Georgia. She's just an excellent person.
Yes, she is. And we would encourage, we're going to try and get her, if she can't come in, if it's not convenient for her to come in for an episode of Ask Elaine, we're going to ask her to call in so that and Mr. Engineer, if you could find Dr. Powell, Dr. Lydia Powell, she's the Democratic nominee for state school superintendent, and put her picture up so people can see who we're talking about.
And she thinks outside of the box too.
Yeah.
And what Mr. Patrick Davis was asking about QBE. QBE is in the box. It's been in the box so long until we don't even know where the corners are. But she's a person who thinks outside of the box, and that's what we need. We need new ideas. We need things that will work to ensure that our kids continue to progress and that they're doing the best they can when it comes to getting an education.
Yeah, Shirley Mercer says that every vote does count. Please exercise your vote. And Patrick has another. He states that Dr. Lydia Powell is Democratic candidate for state school superintendent. What would be 3 questions or priorities you would like to ask her?
I don't have any particular question I want to ask her. I've listened to her points that she has made about what she wants to do with education. And of course, I agree with them. I think she's done a wonderful job. But right off the cuff like this, I won't have a question for her. I just want her to go ahead and do and put in place, once elected, the kind of concerns that she's raised to get to where she is now. I don't know whether you had an opportunity to hear her present, but I think that everybody, and the more people who hear her present, are going to be convinced that this is one of the good people that needs to be in education. She's about doing things. And
there's a picture of Dr. Powell.
Yeah, she's about doing things, and she wants to make sure that the children in the state of Georgia get the best education possible.
Okay. All right. That's wonderful. And we're going to, y'all get a good look at this lady. Get a good look. And you better believe that if she made it to be the Democratic nominee for state school superintendent, she is ready. She's more than ready. Well, they say better than better. Yeah, you have to be overly qualified to do anything that someone else might just walk into. It's just totally accepted that Slick Rick, that Rick Jackson is okay, that he's qualified. What makes Rick Jackson qualified for governor of the state of Georgia? But you know what Keisha Lance Bottom has as qualifications. And she served as the mayor of the capital city and has many accomplishments. You know that. But what do you know about Rick Jackson?
She also served in the White House.
That's right. Biden took her to the White House.
Under President.
That's right. And Judge Penny Brown Reynolds also served in the White House. She's been a judge. She's the Democrat running for Secretary of State. So all these people, you don't have to worry about their qualifications. But if you want to find out more about them, all you got to do is Google each one, and you'll see all kinds of information on these folks. And you can rest assured that they are overly qualified. Some of the folks who didn't make it to this general election were overly qualified for the position. So we want to welcome you to Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Elaine Lucas, saying thank you so much for tuning in. I guess Herbert got lost in traffic. You think he's in traffic? All right, Dr. Ficklin, as a member of the Bibb County school system, what do you see as your duties, your major duties as a school board member?
The school board has 3 basic responsibilities. 1 is to hire the superintendent. 2 is to pass the budget. And 3 is to make sure that there is some gain in the student achievement. And once we do those 3 things, I think that kind of bottles up all that our responsibilities are. But those are 3 big things that have a lot of details to them. And I think that one of the things that the school board more than ever before needs to understand and recognize not only the school board in Butte County, but school boards all over the state, is that the governor and the state school board holds the school board responsible, not the superintendent.
Yeah.
The school board. I think we have a very good example down
Dublin.
in Dublin,
Mhm.
where the governor decided he was going to just remove them all because it
Yeah.
was their responsibility, and they can come and say the superintendent has done this and done that, but no, you are there to make sure that these things are right, that the numbers are right, and that what's going on in the school system is correct. And if you don't do that, just browse over it, and you run into a financial discord or financial situation, then that's on you, because the buck stops with the school board, not the superintendent. And I think that that is a good example down in Dublin. And we go to a lot of school board, Georgia School Board Association meetings, and they do a lot of instruction of school board members. But I'm now questioning whether or not people are really seriously there to get what they need to get from those meetings and to understand what their responsibilities are, or whether the school board association is giving the right information to
Yeah.
members of the school
Yeah.
board. Because sometimes you have people on the school board who come to meetings like you are familiar with that. They go and they bring their family, what have you. They're not concerned about the information that's being put out there for the benefit of the people. But school board members are there to serve the public. And when we get away from serving the public and doing what the public wants done, and we are not there for the right reasons. And I think that we get all these little accolades on the school board, like an exemplary board. Dublin was an exemplary board.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
had the superintendent was the superintendent of the year.
And we have the best tasting water that there is.
Yeah, no.
But you wait till January when those higher water bills hit. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in.
But we have to be concerned about serving the constituency that put us in place. They didn't put us down there for show. And we have a lot of that going on now in elected politics. A lot of people run. It's a popularity contest. They run for show, and they get down there and they are scared, afraid to open their mouths, to ask questions. But I thank the Lord that I've never been afraid to ask questions. If I don't know something, I'm gonna let you know I don't know it, and then you have to explain it to me because I'm there to know it. And I think that when we get that kind of mindset on school boards, on city councils, on commissions, on water authorities, then certainly things are going to improve for the public. And that is why we are there, is to serve the public.
Yeah, I feel that way about the water board, and that's why I voted no, even though the media did not cover my no vote. They presented it like there were no votes. Like everybody agreed that we just have to do this, but there are other things to be considered. But anyway, that's the two questions Patrick has proposed. What are your thoughts about cutting property taxes? This has been one of the talking points of Republicans. However, and it sounds good, we're going to cut property taxes. However, property taxes help fund our public school system. Should we continue to cut property taxes, or is it an effort to slowly starve our public school system from a financial standpoint? Services could be cut, teachers and personnel cuts be reduced.
I think that as a property owner, I like to see my taxes go down. And of course, I don't think that the whole idea of cutting taxes is to starve any particular function of the public. I think that the thing that we need to make sure happens is that the money that does come in is spent correctly. And of course, that's what the school board is in place for, to make sure that the expenditures are needful and that they've been vetted, and that these expenditures are something that, are going to improve the performance of students. Other than that, it's just a lot of fluff in spending, and you'll get into a situation where you're going to need to continue to raise the taxes in order to do some things that need to be done for the students. But if that's the only reason that taxes are raised because the budget wasn't looked at properly and the expenditures were not proper expenditures, then of course the taxes need to be reduced because that will call attention to the people who are in power to make sure that the money is spent correctly, is that they will look at it again. If you keep giving money after money after money, you're going to have continue to grow the budget and grow the expense. We have a limit. The state of Georgia sets a limit on how much millage rate can be applied to schools and governments all over. And of course, the closer you get to that, what is that saying? That is saying that certainly there needs to be a very close look at how the spending is. Every housewife knows that if you don't have enough money, you have to cut expenditures. And as Black people, I know we've had many situations where we didn't have enough money, but we still were able to survive and continue to go on. And I think that that's one of the reasons that Black people are in place, is so that they can apply some of the old word is mother wit that our mothers use to make sure that we continue to survive and go forward. And of course, I am not in favor of raising the taxes. Already with the evaluation has gone up by 12%. Then and to raise another meal is to raise it even higher. The evaluation is one of the things that determines how much people are going to pay. And if their house and their property evaluation has gone up, their taxes are already raised. So I don't see a reason to add an additional millage to a 12% raise anyway.
Okay.
I don't know whether that is something that you want to hear, but that's where I am. I'm for saving taxpayers' money, and I'm for doing the best job that we can with the money that we have.
Okay, let's go to the issue that I think a lot of people are thinking about, and that's the proposals that were presented to you at the last school board meeting, or it was a special meeting, and it called for closing some schools. One was a high performing school. Tell us about that situation.
That was something that threw, I believe, every board member off, caught us all off guard for that, because no one was expecting for Sonny Carter. And if you were in Macon some 30 some years ago, you remember the difficulties we had with putting Sonny Carter in place to start with. And Sonny Carter has, over the last 17 years, and even prior to that, have just been a school that excelled. It is the number one school in math and science right now in Butte County. And it is, I think, the number four school overall. One of the good things that people don't ever hear about is over in a poor neighborhood in Fort Hill, we have Birdell School.
Right.
that Mrs. Allen does a wonderful job over there with those students, and they are really high-ranking school. But we don't hear about that, and of course, and that school was combined with Henry A. Hunt
Right.
over in Highland Circle and Birdell School. So combination of schools is not always a bad thing. It is something that, because of budgetary restraints, that sometimes is a must in order to serve the students and the population that you have. And of course, closing Sonny Carter was something that's out of left field. That consultant company that brought that proposal in really was, I don't know whether someone told them or what they looked at. As I asked on the board, I asked, what were the kinds of criteria that went into determining which schools should be closed. And I don't think that Sonny Carter was should have been on the list, because one of the things that we're trying to get out of our school is high performance and student achievement, and they check that box several times over.
And the numbers aren't down.
Oh,
Are
they,
it meets the
it meets the
numbers.
numbers.
Now,
450.
L.H. Williams, the proposal on that, and Hartley was included in one of
Hartley was included, but nobody said anything about Hartley. Hartley is a school that the numbers are down, the schools are down, and there are some things that have happened internally that I can't say anything about that were also down, and it needs to be very closely looked at for combining it with another school to help student achievement and make sure that students are performing on a level that we can all be satisfied with. L.H. Williams is another school that has the numbers down, but L.H. Williams has done a tremendous job in the last few years to bring their scores up, and I think they're going to be very soon coming off of the failure list. And one of the things you have to look at is that the decisions that go into reducing the number of students at a school like L.H. Williams. L.H. Williams, many of its students went to John Lewis. When they opened up John Lewis, everybody was hyped over John Lewis, because I never thought that the school should have been named John Lewis to start with. And that was just, I wasn't on the board then. But I think that just to try to garner the name and get the number of students over there, some of those things were done. But now L.H. Williams is a school that is a historical school. And I think that it's as much energy that went into saving Vineville on Vineville, all those years
They
they
just
propped
kept
up
the front wall.
the front
didn't they?
wall up. If you had bumped into it, it would have
It
fallen.
would have followed.
But they put a lot of energy into keeping that school for its historical purposes. And I think that the same kind of energy needs to go into L.H. Williams. That is a school that has a historical purpose in it. All the other historical schools, Price and all the other schools that were in that area, Green Street, and all those schools are gone. And L.H. Williams is the sole remaining Black historical school in a predominantly Black neighborhood that is a neighborhood that is historically recognized as being one of the places right after slavery that Blacks could come to and live a pretty decent life. And I don't think that L.H. Williams, for that reason, historically, should be bothered as closing. We should do everything we can to garner up the numbers there. And of course, on the site where Green Street was, and of course it was progressive school for many times under Ms. Tarver, who did an excellent job of having those students over there. That site now is being turned into 64 apartments. And of course, that means that there are going to be 64 more families living there in the L.H. Williams neighborhood. So the numbers are going to go up. And I think that when those numbers go up, and if they give them back the students that they took from them over to put into John Lewis, that L.H. Williams will be fine.
So what should folks do if they're concerned? And, people get frustrated because they feel like they come and they voice their concern and they're not listened to. Now, Sonny Carter is mounting a real effort, and I was really pleased to see the number of people who came to that school board meeting. That was really great. But a school, L.H. Williams, what should the folks over there do if they really and truly want to save their school?
I think that when we look at schools like L.H. Williams in neighborhoods like Pleasant Hill and the outcome of people there, it speaks towards the importance of education to the people there. And I think that if people are really concerned about the education of their students or their children, then they would stand up and speak out. We do have some voices there at L.H. Williams who have spoken out, and I appreciate them letting it be known how we feel about what you have said or you're proposing for L.H. Williams. I think that to crowd L.H. Williams with kindergarten and
the early learning
in
and
kindergarten.
yeah.
Would be something that would be not the best thing to
And
happen
there is an early learning center. Northwoods
if
is devoted
to
to
early
early
learning.
learning.
And of course, when you look at things like that and you overlook and you want to send the kids from L.H. William all the way down through Ingram Pie, when you got Alexander 2 and you got Vineville right there
Uh-huh.
in their
Uh-huh.
face, you wonder what's going on here. And of course, that is a question that nobody wants to talk about. And of course, the people at Vineville are basically, uh, white people who have their children over there, and then the people at Alexander too. Basically they have the downtown people, and the people at Mercer have their children there, and so maybe they don't think L.H. Williams kids should be in there with them. But I think that we cannot, as a school board and as a people, make that kind of differentiation between students and where they come
Right.
from. I
That's
think that
right.
sometimes when you get a poor person and put them in an environment, it improves them at a very early
Hmm.
age, and they'll grow up knowing and wanting better things. So there's a win-win all the way around if they want to do something about dividing up the students at LH Williams. I don't think LH Williams should be closed. It should be divided up. I think that we're going to see a really good turnaround at LH Williams when more students are getting there, and as we continue to try to build in the Pleasant Hill neighborhood and rebuild in the Pleasant Hill neighborhood, we're going to see that LH Williams is going to stand among the best schools in Bill
But
County.
the parents and those who feel kinship to LH Williams and the Pleasant Hill area have to be vocal, and you can't go one time
Mhm.
and think that that's going to do it.
They have to show up.
You have to show
Even
up.
if they're not vocal. Like for instance, all the people who came for Sonny Carter, they didn't speak, but they showed up,
Yeah.
and that means that speaks volumes in itself that you are there, and it says that I care about my students, I care about my school, I care about the people who are instructing my students, and I think that that means a whole lot, especially to the board. We saw some people turn on a dime when all those people showed up.
Uh-huh. It makes a difference everywhere, y'all. At the water board, and people who want to apologize and make excuses for folks jacking up your water bill. Don't listen to those folks. You continue coming to the water board meetings, continue going to the school board meetings, and let people know that you what you want, because your bottom line is you're paying the bills, and when people realize that, the better off we will be. Patrick makes a point
And they
that
are there to represent us too. Go
they're
ahead.
exactly. Patrick makes the point that there's been a rollback over the last several years in the property tax rates in Bibb County, and so his point was the school board rolled back rates. Um, let's see, for several consecutive years before holding flat or slightly adjusting relative to rollback limits. So he's making the point that the taxes have been rolled back, the millage rate has been rolled back. And so we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're going to give our special guest. I guess Herbert didn't
I
find
guess
his
he
way off
didn't,
the
but even if
interstate.
there's been a rollback, that's a good thing, because when we're looking at taxes being rolled back, we're not just talking about individual property taxes. We're talking about business taxes, and we've seen a lot of businesses come into Bill County because of the tax situation. So when you talk about taxes, you're not only talking about household taxes, you're talking about taxes around that's going to bring jobs into our community. And of course, the rollback is good. And I hope we can do some more rollbacks so we can get some more people to come in and bring their businesses to Bill County,
Right.
create jobs.
Thank you so very much. This time goes by so fast. I hope that you have enjoyed today's show. Hope that you got smarter. Remember now, we're right on the way. January just came in, and here we are in August,
Yeah.
almost at the end of August. August 17th, Monday, was the first day to request an absentee ballot. And now you need to go ahead and request your absentee ballot. So we'll see you again next Wednesday for another edition of Ask Elaine.